Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over both the early slate and the main slate on DraftKings for Thursday, August 9th. We have a 3-game early slate, a short early slate, and then a 6-game night slate. I'll be covering both. We'll be talking about pitchers on both slates, the bats we want to go to, the stacks that I like. We'll go over some BVP plays. If you're into BVP, we'll talk about some BVP for both slates as well. But before we do get started, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. I would definitely appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Looking at this early slate, looking at pitching, we have one stud option, at least it's over $10,000, and that is Corey Kluber. He's 10-9, facing the Twins at home. Kluber's a clear play here, I guess, in tournaments if you want to fade him. If you're like playing a lot of lineups, Kluber's going to be at least like 60-70% owned in tournaments just because we don't have very many options. If you're playing cash on this slate, you play Kluber, don't even think twice about it. Play Kluber in cash. You could fade him in tournaments, but I probably wouldn't even recommend it. Kluber just has so much upside. He's $10,900, which is actually a pretty cheap price for him. He looked good in his last start, pitching a complete game with 7 strikeouts, a complete game shutout, that is, with 7 Ks, 40 DraftKings points. I guess if you wanted to play like Barrios as a pivot off of Kluber, just hoping Kluber has a poor outing or just doesn't really go out there and dominate, I guess you could play Barrios in tournaments and fade Kluber. Don't think I would really recommend that, but I could see it. But yeah, like I said, for cash, Kluber's clear SP1. You should definitely be plugging him in cash games. And I think the clear SP2, especially for cash games, is Junior Guerra. If you're playing cash on this slate, you should definitely be looking to him at 7,300, especially given this matchup at home versus the Padres. We love this matchup, a matchup where Guerra has a lot of upside where he can rack up strikeouts. I'm recording this about 9:15 Wednesday night. Chassin, he's having a pretty good outing. I believe through like 3 or 4 innings, he's pretty much pitched a shutout, I think. Doesn't have many Ks, but the Padres really haven't been able to just do any damage against him. Probably going to see a similar thing for Guerra here. 6-7 innings with 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. A shutout is definitely possible for Guerra. Should be able to get some run support, should be able to get a win as well. I really like him as a SP2. I think he's the clear SP2 on this slate. I don't want to play Anibal against the Nationals. I don't want to play Gio against the Braves. And I'm definitely not going to Robbie Erlin against the Brewers. So really the only 3 pitchers I like are Kluber, Barrios, and Guerra. Barrios is definitely my least favorite of the 3. I would not play him in cash games. In tournaments, though, if you want to get off of Kluber or get off of Guerra, because I imagine those are probably going to be the 2 highest owned pitchers on this slate, I could see going to Barrios. But the other 3 guys, Anibal, Gio, Robbie Erlin, I'm just not playing in general. We'll talk about the bats. First off, looking at second base, I like a value play here. Jonathan Schoop, just 3,900 facing Robbie Erlin at home in Miller Park. Scope's been bad with the Brewers lately. He's been really struggling, but I think this is a good spot for him. He's facing a pitcher that really doesn't get strikeouts, and that is something that Schoop has been struggling with lately. He's been striking out a lot. So this is a bounce-back spot for him. He's going to be batting right in the middle of that order. For a Brewers team that should score some runs today, I would say the Brewers are probably the top stack on this early slate if you are going to stack. They would definitely be a team I would look to. Kane, Aguilar, Schoop, Braun, the righties. I really like Perez, Pena down there at the bottom you could play. It's like the righties from the Brewers in general, and I really like Schoop at 3,900 for a second baseman. And then in the outfield, Adam Eaton, starting off with him. I think Adam Eaton, great play here at 4,200. Should be leading off versus Anibal Sanchez. This is a pitcher that I definitely want to pick on. Anibal is not very good, especially against lefties. He really struggles with stolen bases. So that just adds more upside to guys like Eaton, Turner, maybe even Bryce Harper, Juan Soto. The guys that can steal, they get a little bit of a boost here versus Sanchez because he definitely struggles. Holding on runners allows a lot of stolen bases. I mentioned the BVP. If we look at the BVP, Adam Eaton has hit really well against Anibal, gone 7 for 18 with 2 home runs. Really hit him well. I think this is a great spot for him. 4,200, projected leadoff against Anibal. I definitely like both sides of this game. If you're looking for bats, I think this is a game I'm definitely going to be heavy on. Looking to my hitters, because these are 2 pitchers that I definitely don't believe in. Gio's really been struggling lately. Anibal, on the other hand, has actually been pitching pretty well, but he's still a pitcher I definitely think we can pick on, especially with this Nationals lineup, which is just such a good lineup. I like the bats here from both sides. The righties from the Braves I really like. I think both sides of the plate are in play from the Nationals, but more so the lefties, Eaton, Harper, Soto, Matt Adams. Those are the guys that I really like. But yeah, Adam Eaton, 4,200, leading off versus Sanchez. I think is a great play here. And then lastly, Adam Duvall should be in the lineup today for the Braves. He's probably going to bat fifth versus Gio Gonzalez, and I like this matchup for Adam Duvall. Facing the lefty, he's always been better versus lefties. Gio has been struggling with righties this year, just has not been good at all this year, has been very inconsistent. And this is a tough matchup for him. The Braves have a lot of good righties. They have a lot of guys that can put the ball in play that don't really strike out. I think Gio could really struggle here. So I like the Braves as a stack as well, especially a guy like Duvall at 3,800. Power hitter versus lefties, very cheap, should be batting right in the middle of that order. I think he's a really good play in the outfield if you're looking for some value. But yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for the early slate. Corey Kluber, Junior Guerra, Jonathan Scope, Adam Eaton, and Adam Duvall. Now looking at BVP and stacks on this early slate before we move on to the main slate. So my favorite stacks, definitely the Brewers. I love the Brewers here versus Robbie Erlin. But I think a game stack of like the Braves and the Nationals makes a ton of sense as well. Go to both sides, look to both sides. You can definitely pick on Gio, I feel like. You can pick on Anibal here. Really not targeting the bats in that Twins-Indians game. I think that game's going to be pretty low scoring. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if it wound up being like a 2-3 game. Being a pitcher's duel, I think both pitchers are really in play in that game. Both pitchers are probably the top 2 pitchers on the slate if we're just talking about overall scoring. So yeah, looking at stacks, it's the Braves, the Nationals, and the Brewers. With the Brewers being my favorite, I would say Nationals second and then Braves third. But yeah, moving on to BVP, looking at BVP plays. A lot of the BVP plays from this early slate come from that Braves-Nationals game. A lot of these Braves have hit Gio well. Kurt Suzuki, 6 for 13 with 2 home runs. Freddie Freeman, 15 for 48 with 4 home runs. Ender Inciarte, 11 for 25. Dansby Swanson only gone 3 for 12, but he has homered twice off of Gio in those 3 hits. Johan Camargo, 7 for 14 with a home run. And then looking on the other side, some of these Nationals have hit Anibal well. Daniel Murphy, 8 for 16 with a home run. Matt Wieters, 6 for 15 with 2 home runs. Bryce Harper, 4 for 14 with a home run. And Adam Eaton, mentioned that BVP earlier, gone 7 for 18 with 2 home runs versus Anibal. And then 2 Twins have hit Kluber well. Joe Mauer gone 16 for 54 with 2 home runs. Max Kepler only has 2 hits and 10 ABs versus Kluber, but does have a home run versus Kluber. So yeah, that's it for the early slate. That's it for BVP for the early slate. Let's go ahead and move on to this 6-game night slate. And look at my 5 plays here. This is definitely a much more of a loaded pitching slate. We do have 3 options over 10K. You got Verlander and Paxton going up against each other. And then you have Rick Porcello at 10K facing the Blue Jays. I think pitching on this night slate is going to be very focused on Verlander and Paxton. Verlander I do like at 12-4 versus the Mariners. But James Paxton I feel like is a better value. He's nearly $2,000 cheaper, and he's facing the Astros team that right now is just injury depleted. This Astros lineup is not very good at all. We look at their projected lineup for tomorrow. They're missing Springer, they're missing Altuve, they're missing Carlos Correa. Obviously 3 of their better hitters, arguably 3 of their best hitters. Bregman's still a great hitter, but Marwin Gonzalez, not that good of a hitter. Evan Gattis has kind of been struggling, been up and down. Gurriel's been struggling this year. And then guys like Tyler White, Maldonado, J.D. Davis, Marisnik, these guys are better versus lefties, but still strike out a ton. There's just so much upside for Paxton here. He faced the Astros a few starts ago and absolutely mowed them down, going 7 innings, only allowing 3 hits, getting 8 strikeouts. I think we see a very similar performance for Paxton today. Honestly, he could be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate, and it would not surprise me. He could probably outscore Verlander, and you're getting him for nearly $2,000 cheaper. I think Paxton has the better matchup. If this Astros team was at full strength, then I probably wouldn't be on Paxton today. But definitely want to pick on them since they're not at full strength and they're really injury depleted right now. As long as Paxton's if you get some good savings going down from Verlander and Paxton, I think Paxton is the better play today. Haven't looked at FanDuel, but if they're similarly priced, I think I would just roll with Verlander. But on DraftKings, where you get this really good savings, I like going down to Paxton at 10-6. And Porcello, I'm not very interested in versus the Blue Jays, especially with him being so similarly priced to Paxton. I would just rather play Paxton over Porcello. But then looking at my SP2, I think there's 2 very cheap options we can consider today. Both from that Pittsburgh-San Francisco game. I think Ivan Nova and Andrew Suarez are two guys you can definitely consider as cheap SP2s. Both these guys are not very good pitchers, but they're going to be pitching in a pitcher's park where runs are never scored in San Francisco. A lot of low-scoring games. You see low totals there pretty much night in and night out, and I think that's going to be the case today. I don't think either of these guys really have strikeout upside, but I could easily see them both getting 15 to 20 DraftKings points, which is definitely good value when you're 5,100 and 4,900. I think Suarez is probably my favorite option if I have to choose between the two, but I think both guys are in play. I don't really see them going out there and winning you the slate, getting like 30, 35, but at their cheap price tags, there's a pretty good chance they're able to pay off these prices. I do like them for cash games, especially Suarez at 5,100, pitching at home in a great pitcher's park against a Pirates team that's leaving Coors Field. They were just playing in Coors Field for a series, and now they're having to travel to San Francisco. That's a very big ballpark downgrade, going from the best hitter's park to probably the worst hitter's park. Really like Suarez here. I think he definitely could get me 15 to 20 DraftKings points and really be worth that $5,100 price tag. So I like pairing him with Paxton. That still leaves you a ton of salary to pay up for bats. You can play Paxton and Suarez and still stack the Yankees, stack Coors, pretty much do whatever you want to do at hitter. So we'll start off at first base, where there is a cheap play I like here. Greg Bird at 3,600, hitting at home versus Ariel Gerardo, who I don't believe is a very good pitcher. A 5.7 implied run total for the Yankees just shows that we definitely want to stack this team today. They're going to be at home in that hitter-friendly park. We're going to want a lot of exposure to the Yankees. They're by far the top stack, in my opinion. Greg Bird hitting at home in that ballpark that's very favorable to lefties. I think he's a really good value play today at first base. Giancarlo Stanton as well. Just a great play. This dude's been mashing lately. I believe he's homered in 2 straight games, so maybe he's starting to heat up. Going back home is definitely going to help him getting in this hitter's park. Pretty likely that Stanton keeps his home run streak going versus Gerardo. I like him at 5,100 as a stud outfielder that you can pay up for, and I just like the Yankees in general on the slate. But then going to Coors Field, love Justin Turner here, 4,700 in Coors Field versus a lefty that he has had a ton of success against. If we look at the BVP, Justin Turner's gone 11 for 21 with a home run versus Tyler Anderson. He's batting .524. I know BVP is not something a lot of people really buy into. It's not something that really people take much thought in, that they really just put into their research. But when you've gone 11 for 21 against a guy, I think that does show that you've hit him well, especially going to Coors Field should help out Turner here. And he's 4,700, which is actually a reasonable price being in Coors Field. He's one of the cheaper Dodger bats. If we look at their lineup for tomorrow, a lot of guys over 5K, but you do have Turner at 4,700, Kike 4,300, Matt Kemp 4,200. You've got some value from this Dodgers lineup. They are tied with the Yankees for the highest run total on the slate at 5.7 runs. Do like the Dodgers here, and I can pretty easily fit them in since I went with Suarez as a cheap SP2. But Justin Turner in general, love him from the Dodgers and definitely one of my favorite plays on this slate. But yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for the 6-game night slate. James Paxton, Andrew Suarez, Greg Bird, Justin Turner, and Giancarlo Stanton. Now we will go over some of the stacks that I like on this night slate, cover some BVP plays as well before we get out of here. So my top stack, it's the Yankees. They're number 1. Then number 2, really like the Dodgers here. The Yankees and the Dodgers are kind of the 2 teams I'm really focused on. I do like the Red Sox. I'll probably play like a little mini stack from the Red Sox in a lot of lineups. Maybe like a Mookie, Pierce, JD. If I play Suarez in a lot of lineups, then I can definitely stack up the Red Sox, and I think I am today. I think the Red Sox stack's pretty much in play night in and night out, especially facing a lefty like Ryan Barucki, who I don't even believe is very good. A 5.3 implied run total for the Red Sox is not the highest on this slate, but they are definitely in play here if you do want to consider them. But yeah, moving on to BVP on this night slate. Got a couple plays here. We'll go over them quickly. Justin Smoke gone 10 for 37 with 5 home runs versus Rick Porcello. He has really hit Rick Porcello well, at least shown the power against him. Denard Span 17 for 44 versus Justin Verlander, and Kyle Seager 8 for 25 with 3 home runs versus Verlander. DJ LeMahieu 5 for 11 versus Ross Stripling. Nolan Arenado also gone 5 for 11 but does have a home run. And then Gerardo Parra 4 for 10 versus Stripling. I mentioned Turner's BVP earlier, 11 for 21 with a home run versus Tyler Anderson. Evan Longoria 13 for 44 with 3 home runs versus Ivan Nova. and Brandon Crawford 5 for 11 versus Ivan Nova. So yeah, that's it for BVP. That's it for this night slate, guys. That's it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it did help you. If you did enjoy the video, just make sure you click that like button down below. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on both slates that you play, guys. Peace.